As you're standing around, contemplating goblins, why don't you all give me a perception check real quick?
Why don't?
Oh no.
There can be reasons why not.
Oh no.
Oh,
Very deep in contemplation.
very good. Very good indeed.
No. I'm squishy.
Oh, that makes me very happy as a dungeon master.
No.
That hurts. That hurts a lot.
So those things you're standing there discussing. You're talking about well, goblins. They got to be led by something to act like this. What could it possibly be? You haven't even been paying attention to Corpse Flower, who has kind of marched away from the lot of you at this point.
Couldn't warn us or anything. Just getting ready for battle. Ignore.
Oblivious, slightly to the
Ravenous.
fighting.
Good shot.
There is one moment. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to prep a battle map. Oblivious to the fighting, you're having this conversation. He's marched off. The goblins start coming from the tree cover, not from where you were looking. They were quite a far bit back, but then moved to where you were looking. If you kind of waited there and you were stealthy, they probably would have just walked right up to you. If you were real good at sneaking. Not historically that great at sneaking, Mr. Stealth Monk. But you guys don't notice. You're too busy discussing this. And actually, the first preemptive shot from the first goblin is the first sign that anything is going on. And it is going to be again.
Oh no.
It's the first.
What?
The first.
Froze
See,
at
my
the first
internet sometimes hates me. The first preemptive shot actually takes you all by surprise.
Who does it hit?
Well, that's the question. I'm actually going to roll a d4 to figure out who they're aiming
I
at.
am ready to watch Druid die.
Exactly.
Like that's
It's like I'm like prepping another character sheet just in case.
like knowing your luck.
You do hear... No, actually, none of you even hear the twang of the bowstrings. You're so focused. It's when an arrow actually sort of skims/slashes into your shoulder, Tobias, that you turn around very quickly to see that goblins are sort of coming out of the long sort of foliage around the tree cover, and you actually take a whopping 3 piercing damage. And give me a moment, I will prepare for you a battle map.
Is it still daytime?
Yes! Sorry.
Oh no. Oh no.
See, I've got to balance it between being nice to the human and being nice to the drow.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let me just stick that disadvantage tag on.
Yeah, just keep disadvantage on the whole time. Before the stream, you were talking about getting sunglasses. You need like the opposite of the things that let humans see in the dark. You just need like
Yeah. I need
night glasses.
Riddick's goggles.
Riddick's goggles. Absolutely. Do. What is? The bit cup is incredibly glitched out. I'm gonna need to fix that. There is a giant.
That is a
there-
big.
There's a giant follow notification. Get out of here. So
Okay, that's him.
one moment to like get it looking nice for chat.
Ooh.
Goblins. So, and with that, why don't you roll initiative for me, friends?
I would love to. Actually.
Remember to click on your tokens.
Ooh, I would take that.
That's real good. You roll real good.
That's one of those, like, it goes past, and my instincts kick in, like, oh, fuck!
Yeah, well, exactly. Your instincts kick in just a split second before the arrow even comes close, which maybe makes Tobias turn enough to be from it being, like, a good shot to, like, a sort of scratch.
I hear, like, the whistle through the air. I'm like, oh, fuck!
Absolutely.
I know that sound! Fuck that sound!
He actually has... Corpse Fire has
That's
a
the
negative
sound
dex
of
mod.
me killing without guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And So you turn to see from the very nearby tree cover, but behind it, outside of this map, is more sort of a mixture of forest and this sort of tundral area. Are goblins who are sort of crouching in the slight cover of the roots and the trees and the sort of plants that grow around it. These goblins are a mixture of ones with a sort of greenish hide or a brownish hide, very earthy tones about their bodies. And they mostly seem to be carrying bows. So, it's Virik who comes first.
Okay, how are you doing the ruler thing? 'Cause I
So,
haven't ever done-
I actually think they may have taken the ruler away for DMs.
It is in the 4th from the top.
It just the icon looks different now.
Yeah.
It's like a circle with a rough.
It's a circle.
Oh, I was trying to work that out when I was making this. Cool. They
I'm
updated.
using-
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So,
Because now you
About
can
that.
hide your ruler from everyone
Okay.
else.
Yeah.
so
I like
we're-
I like it. It's like the closest you can get to like picking up dice on Roll20 when you're being a DM. Like, oh, I need more dice. Like, you got to give them something to fear. Otherwise, what's the point?
Oh, I'm gonna be at disadvantage there. I'm out of range for the. I'm at disadvantage anyway.
You're at disadvantage
Screw
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I am going to throw my boomerang at that guy.
Which one? Can you ping him again? Yeah, good enough. Good enough.
I had
Figured
the
out
wrong
who it
thing selected, but yes.
Yeah.
You just
And
hold.
then boomerang.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the only. I think he's the only one I can see at the moment. Oh, I can see one over there. Oh no! It's
You,
Oh no!
you're sort of like running up and walking around in the sunlight with your hood, with the goggle, with the mask is not painful. Trying to focus your eyes and aim on something in the darkness, in the bright light, even these goblins who are maybe trying to keep to the darkness, ultimately they're blanketed and surrounded by snow. So there's this searing
Oh,
white light. You kind of even need to cover your eyes as you throw the boomerang. It actually lodges perfectly into. It goes around and lodges into the back of this tree.
Oh well, I know where I gotta go pick it now. I can draw a little thing for that.
Yeah, please do. Is that your full turn? Because it's not returning.
Yeah, no, it's not returning. Yeah, that's my full turn. I can't move any further. Yep.
Beirut.
Great question. Where am I moving to? Probably there.
Is it actually there? Because I realize I can't see where I drew.
Yeah, I can see it as Ollie.
Okay, so it is there.
Yeah.
Like that's
that
what I want.
space is good enough.
Oh goodness. There's another one.
Oh, yep.
There's another one. Oh boy. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly read something. Oh yeah, that's definitely fine. On the same one that
Virik failed to hit.
Eric failed to hit, I'm actually going to use a spell slot and.
You know what I like?
This.
I
Oh,
like that.
no!
Oh, that really sucks.
Oh.
Why don't you describe this miss?
Oh.
I know, as a level 1 cleric, missing your one of 2 spells really hurts.
It hurts so much. Like, I'm actually just really, really upset now. So, basically, it's... I reached out my hand that's holding my sword, and from the fist that's clenched shoots a streak of light that you might almost think is just light reflecting off the blade from the light bouncing off the snow and into the blade, but it's thicker than that. It's more powerful than that. Virik probably would hate to be looking at it right now.
Oh no,
And it is just gonna rip right past that goblin. And
The goblin very much is like jumps into the snow, terrified of this thing.
It's a terrifying sight. Burrowit's terrified by it too. He doesn't do this often because it scares him.
Awesome. Missed. Tobias.
Okay.
Please be
Am I able to
good.
determine, based on where the arrow was like stuck in this building behind me, which one of these goblins shot it at me?
Oh, that would be I guess an investigation check.
Sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant to be an advantage. It doesn't
Rude.
matter.
It doesn't matter any, but you do re-roll. That's how we roll it here. So
Okay,
you might
right.
succeed. Nope. you maybe like take a quick glance and like you're like goblins though. Need to kill goblins.
All right, I'm gonna move down here and pull out my longbow and take a shot at this guy. He looks guilty to me.
Oh no.
That's gonna be a longbow.
That's a hit.
Perfect.
Oh, you like move over, like you take that glance, you move over, fire a shot at this guy. He looks guilty. Now he looks awful dead. His arrow actually fully going through the small goblin's body, just
Excellent.
collapsing. Streak of red behind it in the snow.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Good old Tobias being actually good.
It's very helpful when I roll like trash and Varric has disadvantage.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very helpful right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. I'm so sad about that 10.
Well, that spell
I'm so
hits.
sad about losing my boomerang.
Yeah, when guiding bolt hits is real good. Unfortunately, it very much missed. Barut, the goblin that you shot at, is going to fire its bow at you because you're scary.
Yeah, fair enough.
As it should, you know.
Yeah.
And it's going to hit because, of course, it does. Because I always hit you on this time slot.
No.
But it's one of those things where the arrow hits you. It's actually a dead-on hit to one of your pauldrons.
Okay.
It seems to be they're aiming for the head, but they just can't quite get it. But it's a dead-on hit to one of the pauldrons where the arrow crumples and splinters against the arrowhead's perfectly fine. But just the sort of force and a knockback causes 3 points of piercing damage. One of the sneaky buggers, who I don't know if any of you have seen.
I
no.
see him. I think I see him. The one by the yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh hi.
Gonna
I was
come
worried
up
about
and
this
is gonna take a
not-
snapshot at Varric. Varric,
Oh,
what's
yep.
your armor class?
13.
Oh, it's a hit.
Yep.
And that's a hit for 6 damage. That's like a very
Ooh.
quick, like a... And because it's so close, it actually does arrow into you, and then he's gonna go... And there's actually another goblin off camera
Oh my god.
Oh no.
who can't see any of you, so he's gonna go... Oh.
I mean, I see him. Now I barely see him. But
And next I was going to be Corpse Flower, who also saw him, so he's going to take this side. And he's got this big, long sword that has these barbed parts at the corner, and big shield. And he walks up, and he actually, you see sort of almost like the blood come from the bare parts of his arms onto his sword. His sword starts to glow very hot red. He swings like that, and a plume of fire completely engulfs this goblin. They're gonna make a dex save, which they fail, and burn to death. Very like with a.
Oh my god. That was cool.
And he gets to make one of these, which he succeeds. Next up's Varric. I just need to do some. I need to manage his spell
Okay.
slots.
Oop. Wrong one. I'm gonna come sit right here and go for a stab and jab.
Stab and jab. You know, it's a
Yep,
good
stab and
old.
jab.
The old stabbing.
It's
At a
practice.
disadvantage, so let's see how this goes. Ooh.
That's a miss. Barely.
Yep. Okay, then I'm gonna go for a bonk on the head, and nope.
Sort of things where you're fighting a goblin. They're not the most talented individual. As you go to like run up, it like kind of splashes backwards into the snow and sort of kicks back. But it's a small target and you can barely see them. And it going into the snow would be a bad choice against most opponents. But it makes it harder for you to see him because he's now engulfed in white glow.
God damn it!
Yeah. Next up is
Oh, no.
Barut.
If you can get on the other side of him.
I cannot get on the other side of him.
Damn it!
You moved directly to the spot that I was going to move to, but that's okay. I'm going to get as close as I can,
Mm-hmm.
which is there. And I unfortunately can't hit on diagonals, right?
Nope.
Yeah, cool.
You can take your other action to move there if you don't want to attack him.
Yeah, no. I'm debating whether I would move closer to the guy behind the tree or not, because I am gonna do a move action, like another move action.
Up to you.
Yeah, I'm just debating. I think let's do the flank.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Tobias.
Yeah. I'm gonna move right here, and I'm gonna shoot my bow at this goblin down here.
Cool.
Bam.
That's another
8.
hit.
Perfect. For 9.
And that's another kill. It's just another like 1 hit, 1 kill.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
just
goodness
gonna
you're here with us, honestly.
dart out around this like
Yeah,
wall.
I'm just like-
just do like a baseball slide into the snow as I
Yeah.
go up there and pop that guy with another arrow.
Good thing he's making us look good.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's making himself look good. We look like fools, but that's okay.
This goblin that you've surrounded, he had the bow, which now he's surrounded, he's sort of on the ground. He just sort of leaves it, kind of, as he gets back up, draws out a sort of gnarly-looking sword. Not the best craft, but is, metal, and it does shine a bit in the light. Sorry, Virik. And he's going to swing at Virik.
yep. It's gonna end terribly.
But
for
it's
me.
just one of those things where even you can see the move it's going to make so clearly. It's like, you're like,
Nope.
out of the way.
Back the fuck up.
Yeah. Corpse Fire is just going to sort of help you out. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. But he's not going to actually join the fight. And next up is Virik, who might redeem himself.
let's have a look.
We
Go
are
for the
flanking.
good old stab and jab.
Yeah, you were flanking, so you don't have disadvantage.
I mean,
You got to roll
Can
again.
I keep that?
No.
No.
Got to be consistent.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
know.
When you Eric like that, you got to be consistent and re-roll it. And that is a hit because he's not got a shield.
Yes. Stab.
And that is actually not a kill. Very barely. It's one of those where
Okay.
you sort of like stab down and you do freaking pierce the thing in the belly. You see its blackish kind of blood billow off and maybe spray as well, but it's still kicking and screaming.
I can imagine with the how hard it is to see. I'll stab, get like the spray, and be like, oh, and then try and whack him off, and nope.
Don't whack anyone off on my stream. That's very rude.
Oh no, and that's why it didn't work. It's not allowed on.
And that's literally one of those things where, like, as you're coating the blood and you're trying to, like, sort of throw yourself at him, you end up throwing yourself back more than anything. Also, the goblin's kicking sort of at your legs and stuff. You fall prone.
Oh no. Yep.
Oh well.
Ah.
So
There's your turn, Baruch.
now, because he's prone, I would not get advantage on this attack because he's
Nope.
not threatening him. Correct. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I am just gonna swing at him with my longsword and not hit, and then just stand there.
Hey, Tobias, do you want to be 3 for 4?
We're gonna give it the old. We're gonna give it a try. I don't really need to move. I already have my longbow.
Yeah,
out.
you're
I'm
already in
just
position.
gonna-
Virik's now down on the ground.
ground.
You just
You're fine. Clear
shoot
line of
over
shot.
him.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
I think
That's
it's
gonna
one of us is
be
rolling well.
5 piercing.
And that is enough to finish. the
Perfect.
goblin.
So after killing the last one, I just kind of turn. I'm just like, and just shoot him, pinning him to the
Yeah.
ground.
And with that, like, there's maybe like a bit of like a from Virik, but it's clear that there's no more goblins here for now. Anyway, and maybe after maybe a half moment of like embarrassment from
You're just gonna lay there for a second.
yeah, you hear the clanking of Corpse Fire walking over, and actually he offers a hand down to you to like get you back up.
Thank you. Not so good in the light.
Interesting. Well, they
You
certainly
might know what that
are.
means.
They are zealous, to say the least.
How are you guys hurt? Does anyone need healing? And I'm kind of like rummaging through my bag looking for the like
Yes.
salves.
Are
and
you
stuff.
healing? Are you in need of healing? I can give aid.
I would like aid showing the where I got. Was it stabbed or shot? I think I was shot.
I think he was shot. You have like an arrow in you.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
actually.
just like, this thing right here.
What he will do is Corpse Flower will actually sort of be like, maybe you're getting rummaging in your pack and there is no need. And he will actually snap the arrow out, leaving the head in, which hurts. And then he'll sort of put his hand in front of where your wound is, and you can see it's a bleeding wound, especially more now that he's agitating it. The blood of the arrow wound start to sort of coalesce around his fingers, and he starts almost pulling the arrowhead out using some sort of magic, using the blood, and it starts to not hurt. He starts to feel much better as the wound starts to knit itself back together. Almost the blood of the goblin on the ground is also coalescing into this force that starts almost welling together into you. And I need to check how much healing his spell does. Real quick. Doop. He is going to do 2d6 healing, because he's nice.
Ooh.
6 healing.
That is exactly. Yeah, I'm full.
It's one of those things where
Perfect.
usually like magical healing even leaves like a scar or a mark. This doesn't, although there's like sort of blood smear that you probably wipe away.
Yeah.
While
That
that's
is-
happening, I'm just
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
slowly reach into my bag and pull out a salve and just like put it on my arm. Feel
Yeah.
I'm good.
Very
I'm just gonna. That is so very creepy, but so very cool.
He'll kind of give like a bit of a nod, like it is cold out here. Yes, it'll do good to you.
What kind of magic is that?
The magic of my bloodline. I've had a knack for it for a long time. When you travel the world as I do, you learn tricks.
Very interesting. And Merwood is going to make note of that, specifically bloodline magic, because he doesn't know much about tieflings. He's met one or two, but that's about it.
Rich gonna look at his horns for a second. And go. Is that what gave you the horn things?
You're going to have an interesting time if you ever have to go to Bastillion. There's lots of people like me there, but not all of us can control the power and magic that is within all blood. I am a little bit
That's
special
cool.
in that regards, and self-taught.
Are you from Bastillion?
In truth, my mother is from Thundral, but I was escorted out of there as a young child because a little tiefling baby does not do so well in a city of high elves.
Yeah, very interesting. So you grew up then in Bastillion?
He nods and then kind of looks around, but that serves very little interest to the goblin problem.
Indeed, but I would like to pick your brain later if that's all right.
He gives a sort of like, this nod where it's like, it's not a full yes. It's like
Yeah,
a
but it's a-
sure.
Yeah. All right.
Virik would actually also say, just in passing, he may hear, he might not just. Oh, so these people aren't liked by the elves either. See if he might piece things together.
He'll sort of not even put his sword away. He'll actually point with his sword to sort of tree cover and be like, I wager there are more of them. I do not think this is your contract completed.
I mean,
Probably.
they've turned violent, it seems. Unprovoked, even. So, we should investigate this further.
That is a good point.
Tobias, do you have another one of those salves?
Sure do. And I can reach into my bag and pull out the second salve.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm going to do that, and I just want to turn to him and say, it's not meant to be as an insult to your magic. I find it very fascinating and very interesting. But rather than use your resources, I thought we could use our own for now while you have the time for these to work.
I do not intend on following you to wherever these goblins have made their hovel. So, I have used what little more magic I can draw from this place. Any more aid I give you would be purely based on experience and my skill with a sword.
Well, those are both welcome, but if you wish to stay here, that is likely smart. These people still need safety, and if we don't, well, if we don't clear these goblins out or solve the problem, they may need you more than they need us.
Of course. I already knew this, which is why I had made this decision.
Yes.
Fair enough. I would like to look for goblin tracks.
Mm-hmm. Survival roll.
While he's doing that, I want to search the bodies.
Hey.
Also survival roll.
Okay.
Also, that's a real good roll. Tobias is the one person that does things. Barut does things outside of combat.
Yeah, combat is my weak spot.
Virik
for sure.
does.
And then there's me.
Yeah, every game needs a Virik. So, Virik, you're going around picking the bodies. I'll go back to you in a moment. Tobias, you very much can tell that these goblins have left their tracks. Goblins by nature are quite sneaky, but that's counteracted by the fresh snowfall. You can actually quite easily tell where they go, a sort of slightly northeasterly direction towards some hills and have some sort of tree, foresty areas before. A lot of this north area is, if it's not full, like snowy wasteland, is sort of this sparse, dotted forest. They've come from that sort of direction, and you don't think these tracks will be very difficult to follow at all. In fact, with like your ranger abilities, you can just follow them.
Perfect.
But it also looks like, just from the heaviness of their footfalls and things, they probably came quite a way. Maybe even multiple days.
All right. I will convey this information to my comrades here. Just say, well, I've got their trail if you're ready to head off.
Virik,
Yep.
each of them have a short bow. So there are 4 short bows. The short bows are of an okay quality. Really, unless you're talking about very good elven craftsmanship, there's not a whole much more you can expand upon a short bow.
I'm probably just going to leave the short bows.
Their arrows are metal instead of sort of a stone or obsidian or anything, and there are 16 arrows altogether, which you would piece together and probably hand to your archer.
I would also make a comment of metal.
Yeah, it would be one of those things if it wasn't for the kind of like tufts of fur and like maybe beast feathers on the end instead of sort of like chicken feathers. It would be not that noticeably goblin arrows, you know. And these are probably something that even Tobias is probably going to one night like re-fletch the ends, just so they sort of fit with the rest of what he knows how to use. Other than that, on them, scraps of food that probably don't interest you. Nothing that much. But something that is noticeable, they're wearing sort of rough hides and things, but there's always a splash of color. Oh, and I am wrong. There's actually a bucket of blue paint, which is very strange. Of course, by bucket I mean it's like a wooden sort of almost like cask type of thing. But still, paint is pretty expensive, especially of a bright color.
Guys, what do you make of this? And I hand them the bucket.
And that goblin who had that also had a brush, and it is a brush that is stained with many applications of paints. And when you're looking around, you notice that the little bits of their armor and some of their bows have like almost a streak of paint on them, and they're usually fairly brightish colors.
Marking territory, perhaps? Perhaps multiple groups.
That's interesting.
Also possible.
You said there was a sheep that was painted red.
Yes.
It's quite different from the blue.
Did they
Stark
take
colors.
the red sheep later?
No, it is still here, actually.
How healthy is the sheep?
I have a feeling the paint did it no wonders.
That's true.
I do not know, but some people say that there are things in paint that are bad for living, breathing creatures.
Is the paint on its skin or just on the wool?
I can show you. And he will actually sort of walk you over a couple of houses towards a pen of sheep in like a little grassy area where it doesn't snow as much, like a little bit of cover. And there's one and a half sheep that are painted red. Almost, it's very, a goblin did it. It's like, is the sheep or the wool painted red? Both, but not deliberately either. And there's splashes of red paint on the others as well, and on the ground and thing, but much more like...
So just a messy job.
Just a messy paint job.
Is there any, like, in terms of this location for where this is there any way to determine if it's, like, clear line of sight from the woods or anything? Is there...
Yeah, that would be a... I guess a perception check.
Okay.
It's close to the woods, but it's a little more inside. It doesn't seem to be like it's a clear line of sight or anything. If you were to guess, it's probably just sort of like a line of chaos.
Right.
Whatever they.
So it's not something that was done deliberately as.
It doesn't look deliberate.
Like a mark. Okay. And weird. I don't know why they would do this, but then again, it's a goblin.
Well, very, very weird. I like it. I'm curious.
I mean, we are burning daylight. I think our answers will be wherever this trail leads.
Bring the paint.
Yeah,
Bring the paint with us.
Okay.
And you start following the trail.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the trail starts going off into a more foresty area where Tobias is very much comfortable, and Varric is a little more comfortable because it's not just sun on snow the whole time. There is still snow. It's just sort of where the snow falls or where the wind blows it. So it's a lot less troublesome. But Tobias also, literally as you're walking, is sort of almost teaching you how to walk in snow. For long distances, which is a useful skill he's passing along to a lot of you. As you're going through this little forested area, it's alive with life. This is an area where people hunt and forage and things. And as you spend several hours going through it, you notice, deer that would be spooked and run away. But actually, a few hours into the walk, it's Tobias who gets just an uncanny feeling. The hairs on your neck stand on end. You just feel that danger as your senses are heightened as you're traveling through the forest. And what you actually see as you're walking into some of these areas are sparse, like have clearings and things. Actually, a group of kind of hungry-looking boars that are staring you all down. And actually, one of them is sort of like dragging one of its front hooves on like a stone period of the ground, looking like it's about to like actually charge you. And that might be laughable at first assumption, but boars are actually quite dangerous creatures.
Yeah,
they're not a friendly piggy.
I'm gonna kind of hold out a hand for a sec to my companions here to just be like, hold up for a second, just like. No sudden movements, and I'll like point over at this group of boars that is kind of staring us down.
They're staring you down. Yeah.
Can I roll animal handling to try to just like diffuse the situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's see how this goes.
Please go badly.
Oh yeah.
You start like walking up like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, trying to defuse them. And at first there was just one that was kind of snorting at you and being angry, and the other one sort of like gets more angry. And there's three of them. You can see them quite clearly, and they're getting more and more pissed. And the two elves are just sort of looking from a little bit further away. Maybe at one point you think, sword out.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yep.
There comes a moment where you know that these pigs are not going to be talked away And this is actually much more fun because now I get to put your ranger right up close and personal to a bunch of other piggies. Which actually isn't a good thing for me as you fighting boar because they're boar. But
They're not like monstrous boar or anything, are they?
they appear at first glance to be regular forest boar. You know, you have probably seen a giant boar before. They're actually smaller than your average boar, and they don't appear to be monstrous, but they do appear to be pissed.
Fair enough. I draw my bow.
And one moment.
Oh, good.
Roll initiative.
Oh,
Is that snow?
It's just sort of a change in the battle map. It's not difficult terrain or anything.
That's what I was asking. Thank
okay,
you.
cool.
That's all good, friend.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is still direct sunlight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
While you're out and about, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fortunately, this is not super
I'm
late
fast.
in the
I
day.
just can't see anything.
You're really gonna need to get something to do something about it. And the boars. They're not boring when they do their rolls.
Oh.
Combat, not my thing.
You are a non-combatant.
I am the most like peaceful monster hunter.
Yeah, you're here to learn. You've been saying it the whole time. I don't even need to.
No one's been
rearrange
listening to me. They've just been sending me out on missions to kill things, and I'm like, no.
Really, you want to be in the office with fireflies, like making potions, reading books?
Exactly. Yeah, it's
The
like
thing of this is I already have disadvantage, so I don't have to worry about throwing stuff at disadvantage.
And it's your turn. Feel free to go wild.
Okay, I am going to move all the way up here and chuck my boomerang at that ball.
Go ahead. Disadvantage.
Let's see if it gets stuck in something. Oh wait, that's disadvantage. So let's try again.
Oh, shame. That would have been a good hit.
Nope.
that.
And now I got to try and catch it.
It's one of those things where as it's starting to fly, you're like, and it's a boar. It doesn't know what's happening, so you actually just sort of skim above its head before it even really truly notices.
Okay, is catching at disadvantage too?
I'm gonna be nice and say no,
Okay,
just
cool.
so you have an easier time and you're not always doing horribly.
Just. Okay.
Tobias,
All right.
snorting, angry.
Yeah,
pigs.
I mean, when in the forest, do as the boars do. I'm just gonna drop my bow, draw my short sword. Am I able to take both short sword out or just the one?
That would be actually two, because it's your free action to draw a weapon. You can draw a
Right.
weapon for free, or to draw one weapon, but it's a bonus action for the other weapon.
So I can take the other one out.
you
I just
can
can't
do
attack
both.
with it this turn
No, yeah, you can attack with one weapon this turn. Yeah,
because it would be my bonus. Okay, so I draw both my swords. I'm just gonna charge at this guy and try to stab him with it. Let's see how this goes.
Let's see how this goes.
It's a 22.
Oh
You do
my
have advantage
god.
because it's not acted yet, so yes, that's a hit.
That's
It took me a little bit of moments to like do the math. Yeah, it's almost at that moment you charge towards it, it starts charging towards you. You can slice along its side, and it's a thick, blubbery boar. It does not go down with just one attack.
That's okay.
Hell yeah. But it does look very much injured. Next up is the boar, who takes offense to that. As you would.
Can't say I
and
really blame him.
that rolled off a 14 onto a 4. So it's one of those things where I always imagine it starts like pushing back at you, but it just doesn't end up doing any damage. It's sort of like pushing its tusks and sort of biting at you, but doesn't really actually do any damage, and you can easily sort of like move yourself around and away. This little piggy went to market.
How far can it get?
This far.
Oh, why?
Oh boy.
And does hit because of your abysmal armor class. Give me a strength save real quick.
Oh, okay. That's not
It's
too
one of those
bad.
things where you're sort of like, what? And he's like,
Oh shit!
charges
that's not a
towards
disadvantage,
you.
is it? Just normal.
Yeah, it should be normal. You don't have disadvantage on saves while you're in the light, do you?
I don't think so. I just
No.
attacked.
Yeah, and it charges with a build-up of speed into you for a pretty hefty 8 damage. Like, it's one of
Oh
those
my
things where,
God.
like, as you're sort of jumping back and you sort of dodge out of the way a little bit from the full force of it, like, one of its tusks just, like, slightly sort of causes a nice, like, gash on your leg that starts to open and bleed onto the snow below your legs. That is no good. Fuck! Yeah, that's a fuck. 1, 2, 3. Pigs.
Oh no!
Pigs.
Come at me, piggies.
They do, and
I believe it.
Getting killed by boars.
It's so fun.
Adventurer, you must take this sword and go out into the forest. And it actually is like as you're sort of dodging the first one. This one comes up behind you, smacks its tusk into your back because it kind of almost like goes up on its back legs and deals 5 damage to you. Next up is Barut, who's all the way over here.
All right, so yeah,
This is the I'm trying to decide whether to use a spell noise.
Yeah.
I know it well.
absolutely. First of all, I'm
Death
gonna
by Bacon.
Oh,
What was
no.
that game
1, 2, 3.
that was real big when I was a kid? It was free, and it had bacon damage as well as the elements. It was like a flash
That's
game.
amazing.
It had like fire, ice, bacon.
Sounds like
It was a
real. That sounds like
Newgrounds
real life. I take bacon games.
I think it was one of
every
those like games that was on Newsgrounds and became its own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I've just moved. I've dashed with my action.
Yeah, you
because-
do a timely jog to help your compatriot that has been charged down by a boar. It's now your turn.
Okay. Now I gotta decide whether I try and fight back or I get the fuck away.
You're just like, thanks for coming, bye! And as a monk, I will suggest a course of action, because I don't know if you know this, chat, I have a 100% kill ratio for every monk in my games so far.
Yeah,
so...
no, I'm probably gonna disengage.
Yeah, that's the right decision. Honestly.
And I'm
decision.
going to wait, how far back? Actually, I'm not gonna move back, I'm gonna move
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna move up this way.
Yeah, why not?
That way I can help out with the others as well.
Yeah. Tobias.
Cool. So I just got slammed in my back. I'm like, ugh. And I look back and see this other board, and I'm like, good, you two take care of that one. And then I'm gonna try
Don't
to
get cocky,
Don't
kid.
get cocky, yeah.
sword the one that I just hit last time.
Is this the
That's-
downfall of Tobias?
Gonna be a 7.
That's a hit.
So he's gonna go ahead and take 7 piercing damage.
Ooh, I have to do a thing. So it's one of those things. As you slice down, you actually like sword in and then out on this thing. It like exhales, and by all laws of aerodynamics, this bee should not fly. But this boar does not die. You just see its eyes stare at you, and it exhales, and it sort of like it just bleeds more and more, just snorting and pushing at you.
Perfect. Then I'm gonna try to stab him with my other sword.
That's also a hit.
Oh, that's gonna be 3.
And that second attack is like the clean butcher-like kill, like slice of the neck.
Perfect. I just cut that board down, then turn around and face the other one, and kind of like clang my swords together.
Yeah, that's what we want. So I'm
Like,
going to
get
attack you
nice,
with that
like,
one first.
Sliding with your swords, like just prepping to chop you up.
Yeah, exactly. Just like,
Carving knife.
It does hit you, Tobias.
good.
You like make this like aggressive noise, and it's like takes a couple of steps back, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna scare it away, and it's like, and it's kind of headbutts you kind of in the belly for 7 damage.
You know
Oh
what?
my god.
That's actually really funny because I have exactly 7 health left.
So you just sort of like winded, like,
yeah,
and
I go down.
crumple.
Oh,
but stable,
Yeah.
conscious. For this, we give you the Boromir symbol, and it will then can't get all the way to you in one turn.
Oh, thankfully, oh my god. That thing is fast.
They're boars, man. They're chubby, but they're fast.
That makes sense.
This one against you, Barut. You watch the other ones. The advantage of not going immediately into the fight is you kind of know how these monsters, animals, dangerous animals, are going to attack. So when it sort of comes at you, you can brace yourself. You can shield up. No harm comes to you. And it's your turn. Will harm come to the boars?
Well, I'm certainly going to try by using my long sword first.
That's a hit.
Oh, thank God.
I know. I'm excited. Happens so rarely.
Pretty good damage.
That's real good damage. The board does not go down.
No, that is okay. I'm going to do one other thing, making sure that I have the correct distance for that. Yep, it's fine. So I'm gonna do a little quick casty cast.
I was like, what can you do with a bonus action?
My bonus action of healing word on Tobias, giving him 6 HP.
Wow, that's real good. What do you say or do?
Get up, you pansy!
I just kind of like am still staggering from being wounded. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Giving like a little nod.
You can already feel the bruise forming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's real good. Somehow I just forgot that spell existed, and I was like, oh no.
Okay.
Here be heroes, 6 foot under.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's a good chance. That's my
Very.
turn.
I mean,
So
where's
what do
the
you
fun
see?
if there's no danger of death, right?
He's like, he's going like Brute's come up behind the boards. Okay, yep, nope, gonna hobble this way. Fuck, nope, hobble back, and he's just gonna hobble all the way back to where he was, and then try and stop this one, just because he's like, fuck, nope.
Trying to get away from the one fighting. Yeah.
I just want one dead. That's my one.
It's actually a good idea. It's just the way you describe it is brilliant.
I love it. And
Okay, so
you're flanking.
You are flanking.
oh
you
yeah,
have
I'm flanking, so it's normal.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, I stand a chance.
As a drow, you're going to want to pay attention to that, and that is a hit.
Shank.
And that is actually a kill.
So I imagine I hobble past, just stab, and then continue hobbling.
Good. Tobias.
And then I got nothing for bonus action.
Yeah. At level 1.
This seems like an opportune time to drop my short swords and pick up my bow.
Yeah, and your bow was right there, so
Yeah.
you can do that.
And I assume because I was knocked down, I'm prone already, so
Yes.
it's right there. So I will grab my bow, give a little like to brew it, and then just pick up my bow and be like, I don't take kindly to being bludgeoned by my food, and then I shoot with a longbow. Maybe.
Well, you do shoot. It's whether you hit. It's one of those things where longbow, if you ever pulled back a bow, it's a lot of strain on the like abdominal muscles.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
like you launch but not with enough power, which means it doesn't go exactly where you intend, and it just sort of goes off into the trees somewhere.
And then I'm going to do a thing called moving here.
Yeah.
And
Next
that's going to
up.
be my turn.
Is the piggy, who it's an animal,
Yeah.
and these are desperate animals. Often when you fight animals, they're gonna run. And these seem desperate. And it just got attacked by someone it knocked down. It's gonna chase back.
We both just did the exact same thing. We both run up, met, and then right back.
Yeah. I was kind of deciding whether to go like an actual tactical play or like the funny kind of like makes more sense play. And the pig, like you get back up and you yell at it, it just starts running right back to you, sort of dashing back and forth, kicking up snow and dirt, and you're like,
Oh no.
Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, is it an action to put my shield away if I'm just dropping it?
just dropping it is free. Just like,
Okay. I'm dropping both my shield and my sword and pulling out my short bow.
mmm.
And I'm
Sure.
gonna take a little.
I was
shot.
literally thinking, you really need to buy a short bow.
I already did at the very start when we made this character.
Look, that was a long time ago.
It was, yeah. That's fair. All right, but I'm gonna take a quick little shot with this short bow here.
That's a hit.
Hit it for 4 damage.
No, it's a healthy shot. That's like one of the arrows like sort of gets into its
Right
hide.
in the buttocks.
Yeah,
in
right.
the
It's a
buttocks.
butt shot.
Yeah, that's
Not a
butt
butthole
for
shot.
sure. No, buttocks.
Those are
Right
criticals
buttocks.
exclusively.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you
Right,
hit
it
in the
was
butthole, it doesn't do
directly in the right buttocks, directly above the quad muscle.
Okay, thanks, man.
No problem.
Knowledge
Precise.
cleric, I forgot. Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Are you gonna move as well?
I am. Yes. I tried to select my token and I
You
just
were in
started
ruler
to use
mode,
the
yeah.
ruler again. Yeah.
You-
1, 2.
You
3.
get used to roll 20 after a while. Yeah, I've only been using it for like 4 years, and I still sometimes do that. You know.
Yeah.
Next up is the cat,
Nope, I'm back.
a tabaxi named Rocket.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Seriously.
I am going to first of all hurl my boomerang at it with disadvantage.
Yep. Over Baru.
Go, go, go! And that's nope.
Thank goodness.
Oh wait, does that hit?
And no, 10 does not hit.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
close, but it doesn't.
I'm gonna try and catch it and see what happens. Nope.
You're like, I need to go get that. Yeah. Luckily, you're in enough tree cover that it's not going to go that far.
What happens is I go to jump and I'm like, oh fuck my leg, and
Yeah.
it goes over.
It's like, oh, crumple. Speaking of crumpling, Tobias, it's your turn. Your
all right.
swords are over there.
They're not present, which is
Yeah.
fine. What kind of damage would it do if I were to hit him on the head with my bow?
That would be the sad unarmed damage a ranger has, which is 1 plus your strength or dex mod.
Okay, I'm gonna go for that.
Yeah.
I'm
has
gonna
been
just
shot.
whack him right between the eyes. All right. Well, let's see what the roll is here.
Yeah. I mean, it is a hit, so what's your dex mod?
4,
Yes, you do actually do
That's-
5 damage.
5 damage.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I just run up and just like very like careful jab with like the bow still in your hand.
Gonna punch a shark in the snout. Same thing with a boar.
Basically.
And it is what I think the boar's like,
What the fuck?
yeah, because that's the whole. What are they gonna do when you punched him in the face? If you've ever been punched in the face, it's discombobulating. This is a discombobulated boar. Are you gonna do anything? There's not really much else you can do.
Not much else I can do. That's it.
Yeah. It's gonna attack you.
That's fair.
Oh no.
Makes a lot of sense.
What's your armor class?
15.
You got a 16.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
You were hoping to take a little more damage?
Yeah.
And it sort of takes a moment, like, and then it sort of gets back in. It didn't have the build up, the charge, or even the surprise it's had before. So when it hits you, it does sort of hit you again in the side, bruising you. Its tusks scraping some, but you're not going to get a bad a wound as Virix is. And it deals 3 points of damage.
All right. I'm still up.
Next up
I'll
is
look down
Baru.
to it and say, I still have 3 good ribs left. That's all you got.
So I just realized as well that neither one of us has our melee weapons, and I was coming into flanking range.
Yes.
So I'm instead going to back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You were like maybe expecting him to get a weapon or something, but like,
Yeah, yeah. And he bashed him with the longbow, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm gonna take another shot with it now. Oh, with the short bow. And that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Gloss over that. Varric.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I had a moment of wait. I don't want to be the next target, but also there's still some time.
And you also don't have your boomerang.
But
Nope,
you
I don't.
do
I
have
do have
knives. Yes.
Yeah, I've ninja styles. I think we decided like throwing styles.
Oh, very cool.
How much? I realize now that I haven't actually put them on my sheet.
They're
'cause I forgot
D4
about
damage. They're knives.
them. Okay, so roll
And
D20.
they're 20. I want to say they're 20-60, like your boomerang. So you actually do have disadvantage on
disadvantage.
this. Well, you would have anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't actually. How do I make that roll at disadvantage?
You can't. So that'll just have to do. I mean, It would be the same roll as your boomerang though, just with different damage, like attack.
Oh, okay.
But either
So
way,
what
that
do
would
we-
have hit, so don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. And then D4.
D4 plus your dex mod.
So +2. So. No, it's +3.
Yeah.
D4 +3.
And with that, sort of everyone backing up, no one really wanting to be attacked by this boar again. The ninja star to the side. You haven't seen him do this before, probably not even during training. It's just somewhere from the inside of his shirt. Somewhere you shouldn't keep a sharp, pointy object. Slings into the side of like the boar's neck, which just is this like splurt of blood coming right from a Tarantino movie. And the thing just sort of slowly like wobbles and falls. And
Nice.
no longer poses a threat. With that, you successfully
Sit down.
sit down.
I think if Varric is sitting down right away, Burrow's just gonna pick up his equipment first of all, sheathe his sword.
Yeah.
Well, like wipe it off first, then sheathe his sword because he did actually hit somebody today. Woo!
You did, yeah.
And then he's gonna just sit down right beside Varric and just relax for a moment.
Yeah, I'm also gonna come and just kind of slump beside the two of you and just be like, well,
What do you guys say we rest here for the night?
We got dinner.
We do have dinner.
I am just gonna kind of hobble up and just be like, I'll go try to find some blue lady salves. And
That's
I'd
a good
like to
idea.
roll-
I will drag the boars'
Yeah.
bodies over to us since I'm probably the strongest. out
And
of
you
us.
may, one of you gonna start like preparing to cook them?
I'm gonna first go find my boomerang.
Yeah. That's just like a nothing. Like it just takes
Yeah, I know.
probably takes a couple of minutes, but
I'd be happy to do the cooking if no one else wants to.
Tobias is gonna be foraging. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna cook them up.
that for this would be a wisdom roll that you don't have proficiency in. Tobias, give me a survival check or herbalism kit if you have it. I don't think you do.
Very cool.
Oh dear.
And you want me to roll straight wisdom for cooking?
Yes. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break.
I want to point out.
What happens?
I want to point out. I wasn't trying to cook all the boars at once.
We're gonna put them all on the fire.
This seems like
Something's wrong here.
I also would try and take a tusk.
We
Or at
will
least a part of
be. We'll get back to that. We will be
right back.
right back after these not commercial messages.
tusk.